Visit the contest page at KSLSports.com for your chance to win Utah Jazz tickets, Utah Hockey Club tickets, concert tickets, and more. Plus, this week, we're giving away tickets to the Utah Boat Show and Water Sports Expo. That's coming up this weekend, January 30th through February 2nd at the Mountain America Expo Center. Visit KSLSports.com for your chance to win.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Hoops starting to get interesting, PK. December, non-conference college hoops. There's occasional big games. Just a lot of gimmies. But we're watching football. January, the conference races take shape. Now we're into late January. And we're waiting for the Lobos and the Aggies to square off.
Yeah, the halfway point is this season. I mean, not this week, this season. I'm excited for February. And to see, I think the Aggies are in. I don't think they're going to have a collapse. They got too many good things going for them. And the league is not particularly strong depth-wise. It reminds me of the Mountain West with BYU, TCU, and Utah in football. Some really good teams.
The top of the league's pulling away.
Yeah.
But Nevada didn't turn out to be all that.
No. The Aggies blew them out the other night.
Blew them out twice.
So from that perspective.
I have been, we're just, Kyle Whittingham, we've heard him talk for 20 years. So a lot of times you go to a press conference, you can anticipate the questions and the answers. You still go. There's some surprises, but you can kind of anticipate. Jared Calhoun is brand new. We don't know anything about him. But he has said a couple things that have caught my ear this year. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to say that, but then things have backed it up. It's like he's called his shot. In December, UC San Diego, this is the best team we've faced. They got their first loss, and they only have two. And he thought UC San Diego was formidable before the game happened. And then going into the bye week, or the bye game on Saturday, the last game was Vegas. They'd played some close games and found a way to win. That close game, they didn't find a way to win. And amidst all the other stuff he talked about, and he did talk about some other stuff, he said, we played 4 out of 6 on the road. We're a tired team. We need the bye week. And I thought, okay, well then when you come out of the bye and you got your legs under you, you ought to look really good. Well, we're only 2 games in. The competition hasn't been great, but they've looked really good. And they got Vegas coming up now, who gave them that second loss, and now they get them at the Spectrum. I assume they're going to look really good. They've won by 21 and 29 coming out of the break. They've looked great. Not great competition, but so far he says stuff like that, and seems like he's calling a shot.
Yeah, we'll see how it develops there when they go to New Mexico, and Mexico comes here, and they go there. And then for BYU, how are you going to score when you're not scoring?
It's an oxymoron. Let's dive into that a little bit, PK.
They just hit a bunch of shots, and things were flowing. The crowd's getting into it, and blah, blah, blah. It's a great setting. You had the football team there. I know that Saturday was a junior day for football. They call it junior day, but sophomores can go, probably even freshmen can go. And, they had all this momentum, and you just buried Cincinnati. It was bad timing for Cincinnati. But you're going to go on the road or maybe even at home, and shots aren't going to fall. How are you going to be able to muster offense? And you can just see it defensively. Steve Cleveland told me this many years ago, and what he said was right, that energy on defense is often predicated on good offense. And you have that, you get the other, and so what are you going to do there? And if you don't have good offense, how are you going to still generate the defense that is necessary to win, and how you can score? I got some ideas. I think that's where Baker needs to come in and use his ability, his strength to get close to the bucket, and Igor needs to keep moving. Don't just be a perimeter player. You've got incredible length and size. You've got great passing instincts, as good a passing instincts as anybody I've seen come through here. You can see why the scouts drool for him. The shot going in or not, sort of irrelevant for him and his draft status right now. I don't think they get worried about that. Plus, they think that whatever percentage he is, once he gets to the NBA level, they can bump that up 3, 4, 5%. with the ability to take wide open shots and all, and so he'll be a high pick whenever, if he wants to come back next year or not. We'll see how that develops. But use his skill to get to the bucket and cause defenses to have to collapse on you, because he really is an incredible passer, and he's blessed with a physical size that allows him to do things that smaller guys can't do. So they'll have that opportunity now because they've got their bearings about them. So another slump, if they should have it, is unacceptable. Doesn't mean they're going to go they've got 12 conference games. They're not going to go 12-0. It's just not in this conference. It doesn't work this way. It's not possible. That Houston-Kansas game was incredible on Saturday. I was watching that thing. Houston is so tenacious. They get a steal, hit a three, and they win on the road at Kansas. That was just awesome. So the teams are tough to beat in this league, but BYU has an opportunity to continue this momentum that they've gained here, and we'll see it as soon as Tuesday night against Baylor. I mean, that you beat Baylor, that's a fine victory. Edgecombe, I watched that game with the Utes, and he looked awesome.
There's a reason he's a high lottery pick.
Now, I'm not talking about statistically he was awesome. I'm talking about looking awesome.
His athleticism, his size, the way he carries himself during games,
Right.
the poise.
Right. He looked awesome. Ainge was at that game.
As you would expect he might be, right? Got to scout those guys.
He did a Roxy Bernstein. He pulled a doubleheader because then he was down in Provo. And, which gets me excited to bring it full circle and include the Jazz. Keep losing. There is a player out there. Even if you don't finish one, or the balls don't bounce your way lottery-wise, and you don't finish two, there is a player who can come in and help you get a whole lot better. But you got to do your part, guys. You have got to lose. Lose, lose, lose. And lose some more while you're at it, because you will get rewarded in a roundabout, unseeming way. It's not what competition is about, but it's what the NBA is about. And until they change the friggin' rules, play by the rules. I don't have a problem with this. It's like the rules are, should Eubanks have been tossed out the other night? Yes. Was it worthy of being tossed out? No. But those are the rules. Change the rules.
Can't run at a guy, lower his shoulder, and have that collision.
Whoop-de-freaking-do. If I was Thurl, I would have said, now, wait a second. Time out.
Time out.
I would have got up, walked out, pulled out his phone, and showed him
Look what happened to me.
And
look what I did.
And guys
Right?
that were not ejected, and they called a common foul, and we played on. But the rules have changed to where the rules dictated.
You knew when you saw it was an ejection, even if you didn't think it should have been.
No, I didn't think it should have been, but the referees are beholden by the rules.
Right. You knew it was. He's gone.
And so what? He got mad. They scuffled, so he went up and ran into him. What do you freaking do? All right. Do it again, and you're out. And you'll get suspended. And that would have been good enough. But the rules are the rules. And the rules of the NBA dictate to get high picks, you've got to lose. It sucks. It's not the right way. It goes against everything we've learned since junior jazz and what we're all about. But that's what you got. And so now, from the college perspective, what are the Cougars going to do? They're the most intriguing team in the state right now. And let's not leave out UVU.
They're very intriguing.
Which has won 10 ball games in a row, right?
10 wins in a row. They'll have to win the tournament, the Wax a one-bid league. But they could be lining themselves up for their first NCAA tournament trip. And they've had good teams there. It's never quite worked out in the tournament.
Right. I think Matson got to the final and lost. But what does this team do? And We need to get Phillips on the air this week as they prepare against my alma mater. I gave you physical proof over the weekend that I attended Grand Canyon College.
I've got a photo of a young PK that everybody wants to see, but it's not the one I want. There's a better one.
I did not know that I had a student ID. My wife going through the game, watching the football game on Sundays, both of the games, needs something to do, and was going through a box that had memorabilia on it, and which memorabilia do you want to keep, which memorabilia do you want to get rid of, and she found that, and it was like the size of an index card, and I sent it to you, that picture. Yeah, I didn't think the picture was any big deal. I was younger, I looked younger, whoop-de-doo, everybody did then.
Yeah, but you got a look on your face, it's a very PK look.
Well, I was there for business. I wasn't there for fun, Rosie. I was only there for business, Rosie. I'm not here for fun.
When I looked at the photo, I thought, all right, I'm taking this photo, but I'm not happy about it.
Well, I wasn't at that stage. I'd already graduated from the Harvard of the Desert, Arizona State University, so I was not interested in going to the Grand Canyon dance at homecoming. I was a 22-year-old. I had no intention but to get my teaching certificate, which I went and procured. I could have been a legendary teacher / coach. But I chose the interesting world of no promises media. And what would that develop in? No idea that I would be this multimedia mega star in Salt Lake City, Utah, of all places.
But this guy could have ended up coaching like 7 state championship baseball teams at fill-in-the-blank high school.
I'd appreciate if you do not share that with anyone.
I bet you would appreciate it if I did.
That was for your eyes only.
That's why I haven't shared it with anyone. I won't send it to Yak. Can I at least show it to him?
You can show it to him.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll show it to you, Yak, but that's it.
But I don't think the picture is any big deal.
Am I not worthy of such things?
That's because you lived it. I don't think young pictures of me are, but people have seen young pictures like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, that's a guy I saw in the mirror every day at that age.
I had cut my hair at that point.
Yeah, you had. You didn't have the Jim Morrison flow going on, which there's a photo of you out there.
Oh, there's plenty of them.
And seriously, that's an awesome photo.
Well, I got multiples of those.
That should be on full display somewhere in the Kinahan estate.
Yeah, but everybody, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Most guys my age then did. You didn't because you told the line at all things at all times.
I had longer hair. I didn't have that kind of flow.
But
I look back now and I'm like, I look like a kid who needed a haircut.
If I had 10 guys on my block, 7 of them, 8 of them had them.
No, they probably didn't look that good though, Kinahan.
When people see me with the long hair picture, I'm always think, well, what's the big deal? Who didn't have it back then? I don't understand.
I don't want to get into TV good hair, but not everybody had it, and you did. There it is. Yak, you've seen it.
Yeah, but I
you're right.
It's not like I did anything to have good hair.
That's true. I agree with that.
You were just blessed with good hair.
You were blessed with good hair. And everybody did wear their hair longer back then. I didn't play high school basketball with anybody who had a crew cut or shaved their head.
Right. So that's why I don't understand when I show those pictures, why they go, oh.
But you do have a look on here like, all right, take your photo. Hurry up. Let's go. I don't have all day here.
I was only there for business.
You do look a little pissed off.
Okay, I'll show you that one. You haven't seen that one.
See, that's more the Jim Morrison phase there. That's
well, I can't tell you.
Are you flanked by your sisters there?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't tell you, speaking of Jim Morrison, how many times I was asked to, come on, baby, light my fire.
Yeah, come on, baby, light my fire. Fire!
They looked at me and simply said, break on through to the other side.
It's funny. I just saw that on Twitter. Someone posted an old video of him on some show. There it is.
That is a picture of my family, my mother.
Is that your mom all the way there on the side? Yeah.
Back of the head of my father.
Oh, really? So who took the photo?
Somebody else.
Yeah. Who's the little kid with the hat cracking everybody up?
My sister's son.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was this photo, which is miserable radio, and this is today's world. It was a before and after. Yeah. The time to hesitate is through. Put that on my freaking tombstone.
He had an awesome voice. Yak, we need the Doors for the artist of the day at some point. You can find some hook. Or, on a day you can't find anything, just make it the Doors. Just cuz.
Well, that's what today was, on Florida. So
doesn't matter. Doesn't find a reason.
And give me some more country people.
All right, DJ and PK, when we come back, either Steve Cleveland shows up or everything you missed in this show next. Stay with us.
Accessing.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
General manager of the Utah Hockey Club, Bill Armstrong. There's an expectation when you're a hockey player that you have to be tough. Does that get elevated another level when you're a captain? Because that was just a hell of a moment to see Keller back on the ice and the way the crowd responded when they saw him, too.
Yeah, they got a standing O. It was impressive. I think you have to lead that way. I think you got to have a little blood on your jersey and on your face. You got to pay a price. And that's just the way it is in our sport. You don't get time off when you're bleeding. And that's a good thing. And that's always the way it's been, and it hasn't really changed. You're expected, to come back. And, that's what he did. Not only that, but he came back flying. He's been one of our hottest players down the stretch here, and he just continues to impress. And, I think he inspired the crowd, but he also inspired his teammates.
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
9 a.m. Slacker Radio headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Just mentioned the Jazz and the Bucks. PK, I don't think you have to worry tonight. Jazz can play everybody who's healthy. They don't need to sit or rest anybody. No rest tonight.
I don't buy the Bucks.
They're playing much better lately.
I still don't buy them.
Okay, as an NBA champion?
As I can guarantee they're going to win whatever game they play.
Okay. Well, they've won 8 of their last 10.
I certainly don't buy them as the finals, but I'm not talking about that.
Right. I would think it's Cleveland or Boston. That seems clear. Anybody else, I'll be very surprised.
I'm okay with the Knicks.
I'd be very surprised if the Knicks get to the NBA Finals.
But you're right.
I've been very surprised before, so I guess I can't say there's a 0% chance, although that'd be better hot take radio.
But the Cavs haven't proven anything, and the Celtics are good, but I don't think they're great. They're good enough, obviously. But the Bucks have come on, but they're talking about making some big trades here where the trade deadline is a week from Thursday, and what does that do to the roster? So they clearly don't think they're good enough if they're talking about making a bunch of moves. Right?
Their 8 of 10 here have not come against great teams. And to your point, it does involve a loss to the Knicks. It's probably the best team they played in this stretch. But when I brought this up, I was thinking more about tonight. The Bucks are going to come in and beat the Jazz. And the Jazz can play all their guys, and they're not good enough. This isn't a game where they need to sit marketing. And you said they got a puncher's chance. They could hit a bunch of threes. It could happen. If this is the night Keontae George is on, if Collier has a couple shots, go in.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They lost to the Clippers the other night, and I just called up the thing, and it has win probability, LAC, 100%. Well, because the game's over.
Right, I know. We don't need win probability at the end.
I didn't realize they had that.
You've got more points than the clock hit 0. Your odds are good.
And the Clippers are a decent team, too, so they lost by 10 to a decent team. But they got outscored by 9 in the fourth quarter. The Bucks haven't impressed me, even though they're on a little bit of a run.
But it's a run mostly against the bottom half of the league, which is fine because before that they've been losing to teams in the bottom half of the league.
So then why would I think that they would be able to roll tonight? See,
because the Jazz are not good. They are not
on who
good.
They play, they're better.
Exactly, and I think they can afford to play their guys and be better tonight, and they'll still lose.
I don't. I don't feel that way completely. No, I don't. This team, if they wanted to, record-wise, could be way better.
Yes, I think if they were playing their guys full bore and everybody was fully into it, a 30 or 35 win team. But that's not what they're doing.
No, they can't. And I guess to me, that so much is at stake that I am nervous about winning. But I recognize they got to win some games. They cannot go 0 for the second half.
Agreed. And I
They're
think
on their way, though.
That's the great thing
That's
about
5 in a row.
That's the great thing about what happened this past weekend is with the other teams losing, when they go out and win their 11th game, and whether that's tonight or tomorrow night or whenever, it doesn't impact their draft status. The other teams are 12 and 13. So now not only are they not the 5th worst team, but now they're second, and they got a little, this is weird to say, but they got a little breathing room.
But I can remember several years back, and you were right, I was wrong. The Jazz were in a losing position, and they're talking about draft picks, and you said, oh, watch, Golden State's just going to sit. And I don't even remember who they sat. But whoever were their best players at the time, they literally sat them down the stretch.
It was, might have been a former Knick. Who was the guy? He was a classic, I'm a good player, but I'm not a great player, but I'm in New York and people overhype me.
David Lee?
Yes, it was David Lee. It was David Lee. It was. They're going to say David Lee. You know, you don't have to do that. I'm like, I don't have to, but they will.
Didn't he marry a pro tennis player too? Go look that up. You like to look up.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine.
Meaningless stuff. Yeah, and I thought, oh, no way. And I always thought Harrison Barnes should have been on the Jazz because that was their pick.
That was their pick.
Yeah. And Harrison Barnes is not a star, but he's a decent NBA player. So it worries me, well, what are the other guys going to do? They going to shut it down? Because New Orleans can get real crappy in a hurry if they want.
Caroline Wozniak.
Told you.
Yeah. And they had a son, James, born in October of 2022. So, Yak will be retired, but 2040, I don't know what sport James is going to play, but he's going to be recruitable.
James? Well, if he's basketball, he's probably going to give BYU a shot because they'll throw money at him.
Nice.
That's a very good point.
It didn't take you long to grab the oar and stir the pot.
Stir no pot. I'm speaking fact.
James Lee. Remember that name, 2040. I don't know if he'll play basketball or tennis or whatever sport, but he'll probably be good.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be great.
Little Jimmer Jr. passing to Jimmy Lee.
I was going to say, with the height that kid could have, he could have a nasty serve for tennis.
No, freaking tennis. Now when you can play basketball in the Marriott Center before 17,000 Cougarettes
go
going
play down at the
nuts.
Australian Open in front of tens of thousands.
You can still do that too when you're done. So I'm worried about what the other teams do. Well, how many guys will they sit? Because we already saw that. And I remember saying, no, they can't do that. That's disgusting. And by golly, they did it. And you was right and I was wrong.
For once, I underestimated somebody, or you overestimated somebody. You had more hope.
And now look at this. Isaiah Thomas joining the Jazz G League affiliate.
I saw that, yeah.
Great. He comes up, lights it up,
That's what he did last year, 33 points in 4 games.
wins them
Per
5
game.
or 6 games. It was brought up with the Suns, but I don't even think he ever got on the court.
No, so he played for the Stars, averaged 33 points over 4 games, and the Suns
Right,
picked
but
him
I
up.
mean, but he didn't.
He
But
never
once he
actually
went to
played.
Phoenix, it was
Yeah.
into the bench.
I don't think he literally got on the floor.
No, he never actually played for him, no.
Right.
He's trying another comeback via the same route.
Ainge taking care of his guys. IT, who was in the Jimmer draft, the last guy drafted by Sacramento, the very same team that Jimmer was drafted.
Last of the first round or Mr. Irrelevant? Last of the second round?
Last of the second round.
Last of the second
He
round.
was picked 60.
But they don't call that.
Butler was last of the first round.
They don't call that in basketball.
No, they don't. It's a football thing.
2 rounds.
I just borrowed it.
He ain't no Brock Purdy.
Right?
Yeah. So this whole thing's got me nervous. Every game they lose, I sleep better. It's a fact. Let's hear for 6. Half dozen. 6 losses in a row. And then Will can go on and do his post-game spin, and we can hear about how they played Milwaukee so close. They're never going to give up. They'll fight you to the end. And most importantly, they get their 34th loss. 34th loss. That's what I want to have happen.
You like an overtime loss tonight? really battle.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
lose
yeah.
in overtime.
In fact, I would encourage that because that would make you more gassed for tomorrow night.
Excellent. I like the way you're thinking.
Right.
On the road at Golden State.
And marketing, he loves the outdoors. He just loves Utah, the outdoors. We'll tell him, go outdoors tomorrow. Don't even come to San Francisco.
Leave him behind. Rest.
Right. Yeah. And this is shrewd what they're doing. Then when they're ready to make the playoff run, when he's 36 years old, he'll have some fresh legs because he didn't play as much when he was 27, 28.
It's the David Locke has come on the air and said, it's not your age.
Right.
It's not your age. How many minutes do you play? Wear and tear on the body.
Right.
So there's going to be more
That's
tread.
why I was gone at like 48. The wear and tear that I had on my legs and my body at that age, I had nothing left.
More tread on his tires, less tread on your tires.
Right. Yeah. And by then they'll have the advancements of medicine and travel and diets, and we're seeing guys play longer. Like Jimmy Butler, he's going to be the big subject of trade speculation, and he's 35 years old. Well, you would never have that back years ago. But now no one's really even thinking about it. They're thinking, oh, if Phoenix can get him, man, he can really help that team. At 35. So the advancements that they've made, and plus guys wanting to stay in better shape. Yogi Berra, spring training starts in 3 weeks. He reported to spring training one time. They asked him his cap size. He said, I don't know. I'm not in shape yet.
Nice. Do you think the Jazz can lose out? They've got 11 games until the All-Star break.
Okay.
They've got 11 games until the All-Star break.
I hope so.
So just the odds are, I figured they're going to beat somebody, but I just
Right.
looked at the schedule and I don't really see who. Now, you don't know who's going to play on any given night, so they could face a watered-down team, but...
Oh, it's the law of numbers. They're not going to roll in. At some point, they'll say, no, enough of that, because they don't want it to grow.
Right. And they do play the Lakers twice in the 3-day span, and often those games end up getting split, so that could be it right there.
But they didn't split with the...
They don't always. They didn't split with New Orleans.
Yeah.
Now, they came close, but they came through in overtime and got beat.
No, I think that this is a different world in which we live in. The Lakers are in win-now mode, and the Jazz are in lose-now mode.
So maybe the Lakers can pull off, too.
I think if you had teams that were relatively equal in terms of aspirations, I'd buy that theory more, but not in this situation.
All right, other stuff we've talked about today. We spent a lot of time on the NFL, the AFC and NFC title games. Washington, 4 turnovers. What are you doing? Much anticipated. I wasn't as crazy as you. You picked the Commanders to win, but I did tell multiple people. I don't know if I said it on the air or not, but I'll come clean. I definitely said it off the air. I didn't bet, but if I did, I would have taken the Commanders and the points. I thought that was going to be a close game, a competitive game. They played a close game at Washington. That Washington won 36-33. It's the only game Philly had lost since their bye week, week 5. So I didn't have the level of confidence you. I thought it was going to be close. Man, it was 14-3, and I thought this could get out of hand. And the turnovers just kept piling up. And every turnover led to a touchdown. Philly never got a stop after a turnover.
Washington never going
to. Washington never stopped Philly. Philly got the turnover and went down and scored every time. 55-23.
They can drive 55, the
Right.
Eagles.
And then the Chiefs beat the Bills. That game was supposed to be close, and it was. 2-point conversions, referees, calls, dropped ball. So many moments we can point to in that game.
So
but
do you
in the
think
end, the Chiefs win.
that the Super Bowl will be a battle of who gets more airtime, Taylor Swift or Bradley Cooper?
No. Taylor Swift will get more airtime. But Bradley Cooper will definitely be included. They'll do a celebs montage at some point during some timeout or replay.
Oh, yeah,
or something.
there'll be all sorts of celebrities there
There'll
that
be
just
tons
go
of
to
them, yeah.
go.
Right.
They may not be fans of either team. Mike Trout can't win a playoff game, but his Eagles can. He grew up in Millville, which is about 40 minutes away, over on the other side of the state line in New Jersey. He's a big Eagles
What's the
fan.
reporting schedule like? When do the baseball players have to be in?
Well, pitchers
Coming
and
up.
catchers report around the 19th. Believe me, I check off every day.
I believe it. So the
As we're
game's on the
getting
9th, so it'll be
closer
fine.
and closer. And eligible to be put on the roster is Britton Covey.
Haven't seen much of him this year.
Well, he's been injured.
Twice, right?
But they restored him to be able to practice, And if they want, they could put him on the active roster.
Well, they fumbled a kickoff return yesterday, so put him in there.
He doesn't do kickoff return, though. He'd been just doing punt return.
Just doing punts.
What I want is him to be restored to the roster, return a kick for 6, and be the first player in history, I don't know this, but I'm assuming, to return a kickoff in the Rose Bowl and Super Bowl, the 2 greatest football games ever.
Okay, during the break, I will search Super Bowl kickoff returns, because there have only been a couple, and then see if those guys even played in a Rose Bowl.
Did Devin Hester play in a Rose Bowl? Didn't he do one for the Bears?
He may well have. There's somebody. The first one was, I don't remember who it was.
Did return a kick for a
the
touchdown.
The Dolphins ran one back in the Rose Bowl stadium in a Super Bowl against Washington. It was the first one. I remember they did. I remember it was the first time a kickoff's ever been.
So I want him to have done it in the Rose Bowl and Super Bowl. Or maybe a punt return if he doesn't get the opportunity, and then it could be a special teams return. The first time in the 2 most glorious games, the Granddaddy and the Super.
Penn State is hiring Ohio State's defensive coordinator to be the Nittany Lions defensive coordinator. Jim Knowles gets 3 years, an average salary of $3.1 million. He is the first coordinator to make $3 million. We thought coaching salaries might slow down because they're going to need money for NIL, but not slowing down at Penn State.
As they continue to put up glossy records and lose every big game.
Got to beat the champ to be the champ. Ohio State's the champ, so they're stealing from Ohio State. On paper, the plan seems sound. Will it work? We'll see. And actually, the offensive coordinator could be on the move, right? Chip Kelly, top target at Houston and Jacksonville. Now, you said earlier, when I said, what would you do? Try, stay, and repeat, or go to the NFL, you said take the most money. He's got leverage now to get that. He'll get a lot wherever he goes.
Right.
Got 3 bidders. You got leverage.
Him and Malzahn giving up head coaching jobs to be coordinators. That's unusual. Yes.
All right, DJ PK, your feedback. A lot of people reacting to the Bills losing in the AFC title game and Bills fans having their heart broken again. We'll get to that next.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
DJ and PK, could I get a moment of silence, as I am a longtime Jazz fan and very longtime Bills fan. And my voice is hoarse today. I could use some prayers. If the Relief Society wants to bring by some food, I just need some love. Thanks.
I think it's clear the Relief Society needs to bring some buffalo wings by for Shay.
Ladies, get on the sign-ups, 5:30, including salad and dessert.
It'll be much appreciated.
Yes. Let's do it for the whole week.
The Bills.
They love to serve.
What a kick.
I feel bad for that dude, man. Particularly if you're a Jazz fan and the Bills.
Can't any of your teams ever win.
And you're getting this close now. There's no guarantee they would have won the Super Bowl, but still, at least you would have had some joy along the way. And you did have joy along the way. That was a big win against Baltimore. Close win and all. But, man, these losses. And then it seems like next season might as well be 25 years away.
Yes, forever.
Yeah.
And who knows what it'll bring. And the funny thing here is all these responses grooming. This guy still has it out for them. Decades later, it's the Smoking Man from X-Files. I hadn't thought of Smoking Man forever. He was a mysterious figure, PK, and he was dangerous.
That's where, though, on the flip side, as I've gotten older, it used to be, oh, man, if you finish second, you're a loser. And I have morphed. My opinion of what Jerry Sloan did, what the statues did, has grown in my respect for them, that they gathered every year to try it again. There's something to be said. It's honor. And you look at their bodies as they came into camp in great shape. It wasn't, okay, I'll see you in October and then we'll go.
They had the summer off, but they were working.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't have looked like that.
Right. Yes. And so they fought in the athletic sense and they put it out there. They came up short in terms of winning it all. So be it. But there's something to be said for the desire to get up and try it again. Because so much goes into it. You just don't roll out the balls. That's not it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about really competing in the offseason to get ready for the grueling season ahead.
Kathy says, I guess I should check on my coworker, see if he made it into work. Scott says, I feel bad for him, but only because they have to live in Buffalo. Oh, they don't. Bills fans are everywhere. The Bills fan I was telling you about lives in St. George. Texted with him this weekend.
Right, but
the overwhelming, yes,
portion
sir. They are in upstate New York.
Yeah.
Sam, I feel very bad, but they should have known this was coming for weeks.
No.
Yep, they were going to lose to the Chiefs.
No.
For the fourth time.
That was not a fait accompli, as they say in Swahili. No.
And you, Jag, I feel bad for all the NFL fans who have to sit through the Eagles-Chiefs Swifty Super Bowl. And yes, the NFL is scripted for ratings, obviously.
But you told me that the ratings don't matter.
So I got the list here. I looked. Now, they've started doing things differently in how they keep the ratings. But because they've started counting out-of-home viewership and they're counting streaming now and all that. From 2010 until today, every Super Bowl but two has gotten to 110 million viewers, and only two's gone over 120. And the two that went over 120 are the two overtime games.
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about that stuff. All I know is that's the one day that the U.S. stops.
And 110 to 120 million people are going to gather and watch the Super Bowl. There's only a little bit of wiggle room in there.
I think I'll watch it.
Pretty sure you will. The question is, with no football next weekend, what are we going to do? That better be a big hoops weekend. I haven't checked the schedule yet.
Watch the Pro Bowl games, obviously.
Nope. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Jacob Benner next.